Hello and welcome back. I'm Questorv8 and I'm with Claire, Loki,
Hello.
and an Andy. Everyone want to say hello, guys?
Generic greeting.
That'll do. Generic greeting. So
Yes,
the
so
classics
excited.
are always the best. That's all.
This is attempt 2.
No, we had no technical difficulties, none whatsoever.
None
Today
whatsoever.
we're going to be talking
you
about
can see my
plot
eyes. They're
holes.
moving around, back
Yes.
from side to side. They're not being
Yes,
shifted.
that's why he looks so amused in the photomograph, because this is not a second take. That is a literal photomograph.
Yeah.
Andy is actually a black hole. He tries to suck us in all the time. But thanks to our handy dandy lampposts, we always manage to not get sucked into the void of Andy. The void of Andy. Dum dum dum. Anyway, yes.
I'm constantly sucked into the void of Andy.
I hope you washed. I'm not really sure if the term of phrase is actually correct plot hole for some of the things, but generally it's going to be a rant about certain animes and the fact that they don't seem to have any continuity and go against their own rules. So, Claire, do you want to start off with Sword Art Online? As that's
No.
that's the biggie one, and it's the one that we both kind of have watched.
Yeah, well, there's, the whole Sword Art Online thing with the holes in the plot. Yeah, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the only place I know that's really been posted about it was Sunkaku, and they were like, almost every episode, people were outraged by the number of plot holes. Like, how apparently when people get killed in the game, they die for good, but before they even kill the bad guy, Asuna dies, yet she somehow survives, and it's all a bit like, what?
Yeah, but not only does she die, they manage to somehow transfer her consciousness to a second game.
Yeah.
Without killing her.
And it's like done by some evil genius who isn't actually that much of a genius. He's just a dick.
Yeah, he didn't even create the program in the first place. He's just another guy who happened to be there.
Wants to, like,
touch her while she's unconscious in a hospital.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird. Also,
he's all like, I'm gonna do you in the game, and then I'm gonna play it while we're in the hospital, and we're gonna do it again, and it's all a bit like,
what?
Yeah, it gets a bit creepy.
Sorry, for the benefit of anyone listening, I've never watched this before.
Yeah. Andy was too busy watching Kekko Kamen to care about anything else. You can't even deny it.
It's meritable IP, okay?
Also, yeah, it takes over 2 years for them to actually complete their goal. They can't eat or drink while they're in game. Well, when they do eat and drink in game, it has no effect on their outside bodies, but it supposedly acts as a placebo. But for 2 years in a hospital, that's just a little bit ridiculous.
They feed them suffragette style.
Exactly, through the anus, because they tried that. No, they legitimately tried to feed suffragettes through the anus because they didn't understand how the body worked.
I know.
It's just stupid. Stupid people from the past. How do you not know these things? It's an outie, not an innie. Anyway, moving on. That's NHS style education right there. That is an outie, not an innie, sir. You should not insert cars into your rectum. Anyway, moving on.
It depends exactly which hospital you're at, really.
Also, it wouldn't be cows, it would be horses.
Okay.
Topical humour.
Topical humour that makes no sense. Yeah, jazz hands. Anyway, yes. So.
Of course it does. There's many hidden horses nowadays.
Yeah, they're all pretending to be falabellas, aren't they? That's exactly what's happening.
They're all pretending to be beef right now.
Do you think it's actually just that a bunch of horses got together and like, you know what? We're sick of being horses. We want to be cows. And so they snuck in.
I did see a great photo this week, which is just a bunch of cows complaining about the jobs being taken.
I like it. That sounds pretty epic. Another issue with this thing is the fact that they've been in a hospital for 2 years. that's not going to be great. It's going to be expensive because not everyone has an NHS, and even if they did, I won't be in there for 2 years.
I'm pretty sure they have to have life insurance in Japan.
Yeah, but that's still going to be expensive. Their premium would go up really high over those 2 years, and if they're on their own, they're fucked anyway because they can't pay it because they'd be dead. Also, when the game does end, it only seems to take like 2 weeks for everyone to miraculously just get better after being hooked up to a life support machine for pretty much 2 years. And there's no sign of any kind of mental trauma except for like the 3-minute scene where you actually think he's going to murder the guy in the parking lot and seems to think that he's still in the game. And then he clicks his fingers and he's perfectly okay again. And then it's all like, oh, let's all go to school together. It's now a school anime.
You know, at the end, after the game's done, and you see him getting up and like walking through the hospital, like that is complete BS because he wouldn't be able to use his legs. He'd collapse on the floor. He'd have no muscle mass left.
It is just absolutely ridiculous. And then he straight away, when he goes home, he starts training again. Starts doing kendo. It's like the first thing he does.
Yeah.
It's like, you've been doing nothing, mate. You've been laid in bed for 2 years. You wouldn't be moving. And then, to top it all off, thousands and thousands of people died due to that game. And yet the government didn't ban the software completely.
Yeah.
They kind of like regulated the games more harshly, but they didn't get rid of the technology completely, which is what they would do in a real life situation. They got rid of it.
Yeah, but have you ever been on the internet? Like, that's pretty much Japan, like modern Japan nowadays.
What, people being strapped into machines and dying?
Well, almost.
So are you still
like? Sorry, Carrie.
Are you still describing Sword Art Online?
Yes.
Or are you describing .hack?
Both.
They're both very
that's
similar.
Pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, they're both pretty much the same.
This is why I never really got into the .hack game or the .hack series. I just couldn't see the point in it. It was just, rubbish.
The thing is, .hack took a much more abstract, moody kind of way about it, whereas Sword Art Online was more actiony and less about the feelings.
It's all about the feelings.
One of the reasons
considering.
This is one of the reasons I'm really nervous about like Google Glass, because this is pretty much what that's going to become.
Eventually.
A constant video game that you're all strapped into.
I could see that. I'd play that though.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I know, and that's the thing. You'd stop eating and you'd end up dead.
Exactly.
You'd wake up dead.
You'd wake up dead. Wake up, dead. Yeah, just hands. Right. Who wants to take off with the second one? Because that's pretty much it for Sword Art Online. They're really big plot holes. Or have you got some more?
Yeah.
Or have you got
big plot holes?
Have you got some more to add about Sword Art Online?
The only one two I can think of. One when they're both when they go into the second game, and one when they find that security card thing. At first, the little girl who can do stuff, she's all like, "Oh no, I can't use it because it's locked." And then next episode they can use it, and it's like it makes no sense.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They said they needed the command block in order to use the key, and then they used the key to open the door.
Yeah, and then suddenly it's like, as well, like, he arrives in the gate. Like, I get that maybe you could explain it that it's a glitch or something because of the circumstances for how it all happened, but he arrives at the new game. He should be a level 1 and be at the most basic of levels, but right from the start, it's like he's carrying on from the other game and he's still really super good, which makes no sense.
And his daughter was destroyed in the other game, and the only bit that was left, the only thing they saved was that little tear thing, wasn't it? And yet from that tiny tear thing, they managed to recreate the entire girl program, and then she adapted into something else that she wasn't programmed to do anyway.
Yeah.
Which that didn't make any sense. It was all like, I'm a CPU unit like program. Oh, now I'm a fairy. Oh, okay. But this doesn't make any sense.
It was all just a bit weird.
And if you read the manga, it's even more confusing than the anime. So if you want to give it a go, I suggest you watch the anime. It's still very, very good, despite its many, many insane plot holes that literally made me go a little bit insane for the first 5-6 episodes till I got used to it. But it does have
Yeah, once you get used to it, and once you like it, you just need to remember, don't think too much while watching it, and you'll enjoy it.
Also, there's a lot of time skips because there's only like 24 episodes and it's over a 2-year
Yeah.
period.
So isn't it like first episode, second episode, 2 weeks later?
And in the first episode,
Like the first,
go on.
it's something like the first 5 episodes cover a year or something. It's ridiculous.
Also, in the first episode, they talk about this amazing like multi-tiered dungeon under the first level, and then it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
So
That could have been like the best thing. Oh, and actually no, it's technically a spoiler. So do we want to talk about how they actually finished Sword Art Online?
well, we've already gave loads of spoilers. I'll put a spoiler warning on.
Spoiler alert on the title.
Yes, guys, spoilers.
But yeah, like, because I like how all the way through they're pushing for this whole, you have to get to the 100th level in order to complete the game. That's it. That's the rule. Like, nothing suggested that would never be a rule. And then suddenly on the last episode where they're in the game, within like the last 5 minutes, they're like, oh wait, no, turns out we're changing that. And we're on like the 80th floor, but just because the guy happens to be here, if you beat him, you'll win. And it's all a bit like, that's complete bullshit. It's like they got to that episode and we went, shit, how are we going to do this? And then went, yeah, let's make it end now.
Also, the second game and the first game's objective is exactly the freaking same thing.
Get to the top. I really didn't understand in the second one how they were like, oh yeah, you're meant to get to the top, and then people did that thing where you carry someone and fly, and then they jump off of you, and then they're carrying someone and they fly, but then they blocked it, and I was like, how does that make sense that that's the goal, but they blocked you from able to do that?
Because they didn't want you cooperating. Well, the whole point of the second game was to basically keep Asuna a prisoner, wasn't it? It was there was no real game. It was just conning everybody into thinking that there was a game. Also, I have another problem with this. His sister, who is in love with him, who hates video games at the beginning, then goes into a video game using the same system that's trapped her brother.
Well, technically her cousin.
Well, technically her cousin, yeah. But at that time, you think it's his sister still, don't you? So that makes no sense. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't go, oh shit, my brother/cousin is in a coma due to this stupid machine. Oh, I know. Let's strap myself into one. That is, she has the worst mother in the world. That's all I've got to say about that. Who would do that? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, moving on from Sword Art Online. What was your other one that you had, Claire?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time.
You mean Back to the Future with card games?
Back to the Future, the card game edition.
Go.
It's still not as silly a concept as card games and motorcycles, but it's pretty silly.
Hey, wait, there is card games with motorcycles in this film.
A little bit. And card games in space,
never mind
which
then.
aren't included.
In space. Card games in space. Space.
Gonna go to space.
Card games in space. Carry on.
Space.
Carry on with your plot holathon,
Leon. Right, yeah, because this is one that when I like first watched it. I don't know what you mean by
space.
Never mind.
But
sorry, I'm bored.
But yeah, like because when I first watched this, I noticed loads of plot holes because I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh nerd. But yeah, because first of all, like the whole thing, it's kind of vague when it's set because, like with most Yu-Gi-Oh spin-offs, they don't want you to actually know when it's based.
Anything.
But it's like you're watching it and there's so many things that are wrong with it. I mean, you could explain it in a really half-assed, oh, this must be what it meant way, but I think it's bullshit. it's like it's really unsure when it's set, because you've got Pegasus, who's like the big I made all the cards guy, and in the first series he's got the Millennium Eye, which is like this golden eye in his face. But at the end of the series, Bakura rips it out, and it's not until after that happens that all this shit, like they've got dual discs, Yugi's talking to Yami, Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician talk to each other or something, and it's all really like, well, why is all this happening if Pegasus still has a Millennium Eye, which means that it's still set within the first series. And like loads of people are, oh, it must be an artist's fault, or maybe he's wearing an eye patch so people can't see his fucked up eye hole. But I'm just like, that's just bullshit and just bad design, if you ask me. And then there's the typical time travel paradox thing that the bad guy, Paradox, comes back because apparently his world was destroyed by card games.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
So he comes
Not
back
just any card game, a children's card game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like he comes back to change the past
On his
in order to
on his
fix
time
his
traveling
future.
motorcycle. That's right, Lucky.
Yeah.
Time traveling motorcycle. Yes.
Bullshit. Motorcycle. More like.
When this baby hits 70 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Some serious card games.
But yeah, so it's holy, and as is to be expected with the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, it's just
Children's card games.
Just remember, the house doesn't beat the player. It just gives him the opportunity to beat himself or herself.
And I have a list of listeners.
Siri wisdom.
I still,
Right, yeah, that's,
I still
that's
stand
pretty
by what I
That-
said. People in Siri is just a person from Hull that they've digitized down and put into a phone. That is what it is. It's so uneducated. It has to be a person from Hull. I would be.
Wait. Can we have a Siri here? A Siri fight here? Because I've got the female Siri.
Siri fight.
What?
Siri fight. Plot holes can wait.
Let's
Bring it.
see what she says. Wait. How the fuck did you bring up Siri on this new iOS?
Don't you
know.
just hold the button down?
Hold the home button.
Just
Oh, yeah.
just shout Siri.
Children's card games.
Germs.
Siri understood me.
She's
I'm
not.
sorry, I do not understand children's card
Gerbs.
games.
Gerbs.
What? It's give me casinos. Also, I used to hold the female
Yeah.
Siri. That sucks.
We can't hear it,
Female
Andy.
Siri's the
Well, at least
American one.
I didn't hear it.
Maybe
So,
you flirted with her
it's
too
the-
much, and so she complained and left
Airborne.
the job.
Yeah, sexual harassment. Ask it where you can bury a body. I bet it knows where to bury bodies, because you know that's all people from Hull are told this in school. Nursery even. This is where you hide a body.
One
Yes.
sec. I want to see how I fix her
What's your-
and make her female.
Well,
Notaries.
you get a knife,
Okay.
Andy, and you chop her bits off, and she becomes a woman. That's how it works. You need to cut the antenna off the phone, and it's done.
When you cut the bits, does it become a woman?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, what?
The plates after to become a woman.
Oh dear.
We cut puppets after to become a woman.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
Do you cut the bits off to become a woman?
Searching the web for do you cut the bits off to become a woman?
These are not some
Thanks.
very. These are some quite scary results.
I don't want to know. Don't want to know.
What?
Let's go back to
The
plot
top
holes.
result is how to cut a kiwi 7 steps.
Is that a person from New Zealand or the fruit?
I don't know.
How to cut up a kiwi.
Okay, so I've got 2 plot holes I'd like to discuss.
Go on then.
Right. So my first one is in Trigun.
On topic.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so my first one is Trigun. So in Trigun, the main plot is the main character Vash is effectively avoiding Knives, his brother, to prevent destroying cities with his massive arm gun. But why doesn't he just destroy his arm gun?
Because that would be too easy.
But isn't the arm
This
gun
is
made
very
up of
true.
bio material that's actually part of him? So he'd have to rip his own arm off.
Yeah, but I mean, he seems to have no problem with that. It's like completely covered in scars and held together by bits of like
Duct tape.
more or less. It's held. Yeah, it's pretty much held together by tape by the end of it.
But the reason that he's so scarred is because he doesn't inflict them on himself. He just jumps in front of things to protect other people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if he's got no problem harming himself to protect people, why has he got a problem with ripping off his own arm to prevent killing the entire planet's population?
Because then surely if his brother shows up he needs to defend something, then he's...
Yeah, but when his brother shows up, I seem to remember that he's got no choice of using this gun, and it basically what happens is the two of them together, they kind of have an attraction that makes the guns activate. When they hit each other, it's kind of like a giant nuclear reaction that explodes and kills everything. So what I don't get is if he just destroys the gun, there's no possibility of doing that, and you could just use a regular gun.
Well, you can apply the same logic to Indiana Jones in the first one, where he's trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. I mean, it gets to the point where the Nazis need him to find it. So why didn't he just fuck off and go home? If he just went home, they wouldn't be able to get him in America, and that'd be it. It would be the end of the film, and everyone would be safe. So I think it's that's there as a major plot device for the story. Without it, the story would be moot.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this is pretty much the point of every plot hole, I think, is it's a plot device. It's just not a particularly well thought out plot device.
There's millions of those in Dragon Ball Z. Millions of things that make no sense.
Yeah, but it's Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really expecting things to make sense. The only continuity is how long they've been screaming between episodes, really.
That sounds about right.
Freezy Pop!
Yeah, well, straight off the bat, like, Raditz tells Goku that Planet Vegeta was destroyed 4 years ago by a meteorite. But then in the second arc, he found out that Frieza did it, and that it was done as Goku was leaving the planet. And when they were having this conversation, Goku's about 23 years of age. There's a bit of a difference between 4 years and 23. That's a massive plot hole right there, and that's right at the beginning. What have you sent? No.
So I'm going to accept the fact that that's fine because he's a Saiyan, so maybe he grows 23 years in 4 years. Think about that.
But surely... Oh, actually, no, because I was going to say surely then Gohan would do the same thing, and he doesn't, but actually Gohan is part human.
Exactly. And that's the moral of the story.
Being part human is the moral of the story. That makes sense.
Yep.
Also,
Okay,
in the first series, they turn around and say that the reason he gets his body when he goes to the afterlife to train with King Kai is because he's such a good guy. He's like pure of heart and all that shit. But then later on, the underworld is overrun by bad guys who have bodies. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but the bad guys might be good at being bad, and that's what he might have meant in terms of you're such a good guy.
Just because you are a bad guy does not mean you are
You're a bad guy. Yeah, I get
But
that.
I mean, like maybe they're really good at being bad, and what his actual description was you're good at what you do, and he's just particularly vague about it because it's an anime.
Also, the biggest plot hole ever. Krillin shoots bogies
Go on.
out of his nose when he's got a cold, except he doesn't have a nose.
Huh.
Explain that one.
No.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this is my biggest plot hole ever. How the fuck does anyone in Pokemon stay alive? Because nobody has a regular job.
There's
You know,
also no
like,
people
there's no-
hospitals.
Exactly. There's no people hospitals. There's no farmers. There's no anything except for shit to do with Pokemon. Like all you ever see is the characters either having fights or eating food. What I want to know is like,
Or
where's the
sitting around
slave
in the
nation?
fields.
Where's the slave nation that's like growing all of this food for them? Because like seriously, Japan must have enslaved the entire world for them to have that kind of sustainability where they just don't need to do anything except for piss about with their animals all day. I mean, like, what kind of upper class bullshit is this?
Also, how
Everyone
is Team
from Pokemon,
Rocket
like,
not dead the amount of
aristocrat-
times that they've got electrocuted?
Yeah, see, this is my other thing. I'm wondering what they're made out of.
Maybe they're
Because-
actually a government experiment.
Because I've seen them basically drown, explode, suffocate in space, be completely panicked, survive tremendous falls, but they seem to survive. Like, all I can gather is that they're made out of the same material as the Stretchy Woman out of The Incredibles.
Elastigirl.
Elastigirl. She's
They just haven't quite realised that they're elastic yet.
That would make sense. Maybe James and Jesse are Luffy's parents from One Piece. They would explain a few things.
Just a few.
Just a few things. Also, going back to Dragon Ball Z again, the power levels kind of become a little bit redundant, and they sort of start to not make any sense the further you go on. Because, like, obviously, Vegeta makes a massive deal that with the over 9,000 meme, which is, like, the most famous meme to do with that series. And, like, when Goku powers up, like, the earth starts shaking, and, like, rocks start breaking and stuff like that. And same when Goku and Frieza go into their, like Goku goes into SSJ for the first time, and when Frieza reaches his, like, ultimate form, like, the planet is falling apart, not only because, like, it's literally being ripped apart, but it's their power levels are ripping it apart. And then later on, when they, like, go into SSJ 3, they just, like, click the fingers and they're in SSJ 3, and there's no, like, danger to the environment. Nothing changes. The world doesn't get pulled apart or anything. It's just as if it doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't...
But I mean, this can be explained in the same way of, like, when you have sex, a lot can be explained. Like, the first time you have sex with someone, it's like, oh my god, this feels amazing. You make a huge mess everywhere, and everything gets wrecked. Whereas, like, a little bit down the line, when you've had some practice, you've got a little bit of finesse. You can finish whenever you want. You don't make a mess. You don't destroy shit unless you want to. So I think it, like, going Super Saiyan is something similar to coming.
It explains all the screaming.
That it does.
It definitely explains all the screaming.
I like to think that it's just like in Dragon Ball PP, where he's just like burps and then he goes Super Saiyan.
Yep, that sounds about right. What have you got any more to add to this plot hole plethora of stuff, Kleber?
Not really. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
okay.
enough Dragon Ball.
No, I mean, like, another anime. I don't necessarily
Oh.
mean in Dragon Ball.
No. No.
Yeah, I'm a little lost for plot holes as well, to be honest. I mean, there's a whole shitload, but...
Well, I watched this one the other day, Andy, and it's definitely something that you would like. Unfortunately, it hasn't got porn in it, so I do apologise. It's the only thing
that
it doesn't have.
I don't like hentai. I like objectional anime.
Different. Objectional anime. Big Adder HK. That's an objectional anime. It's actually quite a good objectional anime. But this one's called.
Yeah, it's true.
Go on.
I was gonna say Big Adder HK is definitely one of my favourites, except for the very, very last episode, which pretty much crosses the line of questionable to almost hentai. Like, it's not quite there, but it's just that kind of awkward that it's like, now I kind of don't want to suggest this to my friends, kind of.
Yeah, there's a couple like that. I can't think of what they are off the top of my head. Henzemi was the one that strings to mind, actually. That's just a bit weird.
I've not seen that one.
Oh,
Don't know if I want to.
This does remind me, actually.
weird.
I was in the HMV in Guildford recently, and I was looking through the anime section, and they've got like full-blown hentai box sets. Like, I don't know why they've got them, but obviously they're trying to get rid of them because of the whole shutting down of HMV kind of thing. And it's just really weird to see HMV like selling like proper hardcore hentai.
You mean like Lottie's toy?
No, like far worse than that. I mean, I don't know what this was, but like on the back, it had snakes basically violating people.
You
Like,
sure
not
you weren't
even
looking at
subtly-
a copy of Squid Girl?
No. It was
It was definitely
was-
hentai.
a bit more than questionable.
A bit
I'll,
more.
I might head into town tomorrow, see if I can find a copy. I'll send you it for your birthday.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what I need in my life. Snakes violating men and women. Well, this one that I watched the other day is called Toshukan Senso, also known as Library War, and it absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Basically, it's set in a slightly modern day Japan, where the government has the power to ban any literature it wants to, right? So it can just go into a bookstore, take all the books out, and be like, yeah, that's it, this is banned. But they don't stop there, they go after the author and shoot him in the head. So the book can never be recreated, and nothing else can be recreated anything like it. Now, if you're a librarian in this universe, you have the right to protect the literature that's banned by the government. However, the government can only come and get the literature or get the author between 9 and 5, same as you can only protect them between 9 and 5 because it's a job. So it doesn't matter if you've got the gun pressed to his head, as soon as it turns 5 o'clock, you've got to take the gun down and walk away. Because your day job has ended, right?
So this is right. This is one thing you could not come up with that outside of Japan, because everyone is like, what the fuck have you been smoking? But in Japan, that just seems to be like the typical thought process of, oh yeah, that'll make great entertainment, and yeah, it will, admittedly, but you know what I mean? It's like, outside of Japan, why would you do that?
There are like a few other things. So like the librarian, yeah, you see the librarian, it's just a typical librarian with a book, you know, glasses, looks a bit wordy, that kind of thing. Then a woman comes in, like, from the government,
Looks
wearing
a bit wordy.
wearing a suit with, like, you know, camo armor and like body armor on and stuff, with like a machine gun, and all of a sudden the librarian just like rolls underneath the desk and comes out in like full camo gear with like assault rifles and grenades attached to them, and they have like a full-on war in the middle of this library while people are still there like reading books. And yet people don't seem to understand that this censorship's actually going on. So when the librarian's basically gone to go protect an author, they'll disguise the author, so put him in like an old man's beard and like give him like a cane and everything. But then they're wearing such outrageous librarian outfits that basically have massive neon signs saying, I am a librarian, and they have to escort them, that they just keep getting attacked all the time. It doesn't make one bit of sense, yet it is really annoyingly entertaining to watch. Especially the people's reactions to watching the authors get shot, because they don't know what's going on. They're just like, a man's got shot, oh my god, why are these people keep getting shot? They don't realise that it's the government censoring stuff. It just makes no sense.
Isn't this pretty much like modern day China?
Yeah, that is a good example of what this is in a modern day society. It is China, with ass kicking librarians.
I do
Basically,
hope
everyone in
librarians
China
try it.
who's a librarian is basically Jackie Chan's uncle from Jackie Chan's animated series. They're all running around,
Yes.
kicking the shit out of everything, going, one more thing, and then punch him in the face. That is exactly what's going on.
Exactly.
Exactly what's going on.
Exactly.
Has anyone got anything more to add?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think to plot holes exactly. I can't really think of anything on the top of my head.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some earlier, and I was like, actually, I can't think of that many.
Which is weird because like pretty much every anime ever has some form of plot hole in it. But
It's just that we enjoy it so much we don't pick up on it. That's what it is. Alright then, as we can't think of anything, I think we'll leave it there. So do you want to say goodbye, guys?
Goodbye, guys.
goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys, and we'll see you. We'll witter on about something else another time. Bye.